Hit me one time.
Renata Romaine.
No.
Oh, powder?
I was joking.
Oh, about to say.
What's happening? This is David Banner. You're tuned in to Renata Romaine TV. God bless.
You're now checking out Renata Romaine.
We supposed to be all over the world, but it's worth it, man. And you know, I was talking to a really good friend of mine, and that you may or may not know, and me and him we were talking about really focusing on you this year, and you know, doing some things with the power that is vested in us to really help push the brand forward. One, because you're great.
Oh, thank you.
Two, because I was talking to Big Crit about this. We have to start pushing for good people. You know, it just seems like, you know, and I watched that happen in my career, you know, when I stopped smoking weed. A lot of my friends cut down. You know what I'm saying? When I stopped womanizing, a whole bunch of my friends cut down. You know, when I started studying, and, you know, when I became a vegetarian, some more friends cut down.
Right. Influence.
But what I realized is that those friends started replacing themselves with positive things because of my vibrations. And, you know, you're one of the good ones. And, you know, we actually had an hour-long conversation about it. And, you know, if anything I can do to help push your brand, that, you know, and it's because you're deserving, not just because of the vibration.
You're making me blush this morning.
No, but I'm serious.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, you and I can't blush. We can turn another tit.
I appreciate your kind words, and, you know, right back at you.
Yeah.
You know, there aren't many artists that I can vibe with or even like to vibe with, you know, like yourself. So I appreciate you saying that. Let's get caught up because, you know, you do these disappearing acts.
I do.
You know, and you called into the show, maybe it was last year now, to update us on everything that you were doing. I feel like you went through a transformation. Your style is different. You know, everything about you is different. Your music is different. So talk to us.
Well, I'm different. I went through a period. I lived in LA for 6 years to do the acting thing, and it was I think the hardest period in my life. You know, but through that valley is where I found, you know, Bill Duke, the legendary producer and actor, introduced me to transcendental meditation. And then I was so far from the South and so far from my family and friends. You know, I basically had two friends in LA, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, two friends that were male.
Okay.
You know, and it was like just a rough period. I was basically out there by myself. And
were you trying to find yourself?
No, I was trying to become an A-list actor is what I was trying to do. But what I ended up doing is finding myself. You know, one of the myths that people believe in is that hard times or struggle is evil. It's not. That's how God refines you.
Right.
You know, think about when you have a pain in your arm and you go to the doctor. That pain shows the doctor where to start. The problem is most people look for God and the devil outside of themselves. All of that is in you. As a matter of fact, I don't believe that there is evil. I believe there's as many gods. There are things that you are not supposed to do. And when you're out of line and you're out of vibration, that's God telling you to get back in line. But since we believe in so many things outside of us, that we don't blame ourselves.
Right. We don't look within.
So LA refined me. And I actually drove. I sold everything. I sold my Bentley. I sold everything but like a couple pair of shoes and some paintings. And I drove cross country from LA to Atlanta.
By yourself?
By myself. Well, I drove to Dallas because what I did, I was so far out of touch with my friends.
Yes.
And my friends were having kids and stuff that I had never seen.
Wow.
So I went and stopped and saw all my friends.
Wow.
Like literally, it took an extra 4 days. Then there's a legendary hip hop producer named Ginsu Dean. He told his wife what I was going through, and she was like, "Go help your friend." And I drove to Dallas, and he drove the rest of the way. Yeah. So it was. That within itself was transforming. So from that point, I fasted for like 7 months.
Really? One meal a day?
No, it was a different type of fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
No women type of fast.
Something like that.
So you were celibate for some months.
Yeah, 7 months.
Are you still celibate?
No. No.
Okay.
I actually caught up in one day. I got it in. I think she thought something was wrong with me. Like, what the hell is wrong with this boy? He ain't never getting it again.
My God.
Yes, it's something else. But I fast, like I cleansed. And my mentor, I never really talked about this before on anybody, but it's you. My mentor, David Moody, and I'm a grown man with money, told me, he said, move in, son. He said, come move in with me for 5 months. He said, so you won't have to worry about bills. He said, you need to reset your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that he taught me, he said, son, you did great up until this point, but you can't move further. And this man is worth over 80 million liquid. He was like, you move too fast. He said, write down what you did yesterday. And I wrote down what I did. And I was going from 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, because my dad always taught me, you don't sit up in another man's house. And I hadn't accomplished anything. He said, you have to sit still and listen to God. So him and his wife loved on me literally for 5 months. And I got my life together. I found my vision and my purpose, and I centered myself.
Nice.
And literally, I'm not joking, Renata. Everything comes to me now. I don't beg for much. I don't audition much. Like, I do my auditions and stuff, but these speaking events and all of these blessings that I have, for the most part, they come to me.
Right.
It's
like you're in flow now. You're in purpose.
Yeah.
David Banner, more with him is coming up next. Sip Up Nation, I'm Renata Romaine, your ear candy. We're talking to David Banner. I'm just loving the transformation that has happened in his life. And you know what? It's infectious. Like you were saying earlier, you like working with good people.
Yes.
And I think that it is infectious, and I see your light shining, and I think that you are certainly affecting other people's lives. Yeah. So now you have this record, Marry Me. Yes. I'm guessing that came out of the transformation.
It did. It did. And surprising enough, the idea with the concept of the way that I did this album, or especially Marry Me, came from Ninth Wonder, the producer.
Yeah.
Ninth Wonder told me, he said, Banner, my biggest problem right now, first of all, he said, most of the people who drive hip hop financially, as far as artists are concerned, they're over 35. They may lie and use a lot of Beijing. He said, but my daughter is 16 now. He said, my biggest worry right now is somebody, excuse my French, trying to fuck my daughter. He was like, where is that song? He said, you have all these grown rappers, but you don't have anybody, giving even one song that's helping these kids move into that period of their life.
Yes.
So I was like, yo, let me talk about something grown up. And I'm going to be very honest with you. A lot of people don't understand this, but Marry Me was it was made for all black women. Because I want to be very clear about something. I've changed the trajectory of my career. I make music for black people.
Okay.
I hope everybody listens to me.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But when black people made music for black people, they are pop, because we were popular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when we start trying to cater to other people who we drove their directions of music.
But it's okay to cater to black people. It's okay. That's fine.
Just be you.
Just be, exactly.
So for me right now, I make music for black people. The problem is, and this is something I'm going to start lecturing about, and then I'm going to finish telling you about Marry Me, but this is very important. I need you to keep this and play this over and over again to people. The game is this. Black people think that they're failing, but what's happening is black people are the majority for the most part globally, or people of culture, I should say.
Okay.
But what happens is when we were taken in slavery, we were taught a white man's language. That language cuts us off from other indigenous black people. So we're speaking with a white person's tongue, but have a black face, which cuts us off from the rest of the black people globally. So we are competing.
Right.
We're only 15% of America's populations. White people are about 65%. So it's almost impossible for Usher to compete with Justin Timberlake.
Right.
Unless he crosses over and act white, which makes him lose who he actually is. And we feel bad and think that we're less than white artists when it's rigged. They're already, 45% ahead of you. And their people are going to market them harder. So we have to change trying to compete with white people and just make great music and look at the numbers compared to that 15% and allow ourselves to grow exponentially. That's what people
and support one another, because that's a huge proponent as well.
Because what people won't talk about, Renata, is most black people don't like being black.
You got to hold your thought right there. We'll come back as David Banner, as always, kicking that knowledge on us today. It's Hip Hop Nation. Hip Hop Nation, I'm Renata Romaine, your ear candy. You are ruffling some feathers today, David Banner, but I love it.
Well, you only ruffle feathers if people are birds.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so now when we left off, we started talking about Marry Me. We're going to get back into that, but we went in another direction, and you mentioned, most black people don't like being black, and I think that's dead on, because the evidence is how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves, how we want to make ourselves look.
Right.
I feel like we're so far left. How can we get back to the center of who we are?
Well, I'm gonna be
our authentic selves.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm finding this, and my mentor taught me this, is that, first of all, it's not your responsibility to save the world. I think if everybody worked on them, then that's how we would change the world. The funny thing is, most people think I bumped my head and became conscious. I've been conscious since the 11th grade.
When you made Like a Pimp, you were conscious.
Yes. You have to remember, I was in a group called Crooked Letters on Penalty before that. And people never talk about that. And if you look, we're about to work on a documentary that says From Mississippi the Album to Mississippi the Activist. Because people don't look at me defending hip hop in front of Congress.
Right.
People don't forget about Katrina. People don't look at the fact that if you turn off the music on Like a Pimp, we ran the Ku Klux Klan out of Mississippi. We pushed over the burning crosses.
Really? Because when I think of David Banner, I don't think of Like a Pimp.
But I mean, even during that period, at the end of Like a Pimp, we ripped up the Confederate flag, ran through the graveyard with the nooses in the background, and threw the Confederate flag back. Nobody sees that. Nobody talks about Cadillac on 22s. God, I know that we pimp. God, I know that we wrong. God, I know I should talk about more in all of my songs. People don't talk about that. People don't talk about the songs on Certified with Riding with Talib and Dead Prayers. People don't talk about the song Bush on my first album. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Any of those things, I've been saying the same things historically, but I was just over sex, mad, drugs, and a lot of gun.
Right.
But what I will say is this. The reason why it didn't maturate the way that it was supposed to, because I wasn't living what I was talking. I eat like I talk. When I go home, this is me across the board, like it or leave it. I meditate, I pray, I fast. I was just talking back then. I understood it. See, we have to align our temples.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times we may have the information,
but
we're not eating right.
Right.
We're not living right.
It's not, you're not applying it to your life. And that application is the evidence of learning.
Exactly.
Yeah. Back to the song "Marry Me," because I know you're working on the album.
Yes.
"Marry Me" it's a courageous record.
Yeah.
It really is, because for a man, especially a black man, to get to that point, it's like an act of surrendering.
Well, it is. I'm going to tell you a couple things. First of all, a friend of mine, his name is Malone. He's from Jackson, Mississippi. One of the best high school basketball players in Mississippi history. He's a very good friend of mine. He said something that changed my life. He was like, brother, this is like, I understand. He told me two things. He said, first of all, brother, I understand that you want to change the world and you're Pan-Africanist and all this kind of stuff. He said, but until you repair until black people repair their relationship with their women, we will never move forward. He said, even though it is not our fault that our families were ripped apart, the transatlantic slave trade, on and on and on. He said, but if you look at the power structures in America and in history, it's always been families.
Yes.
It's always been the Rothschilds. It's always been the Bushes and, the rest of the families.
Yeah.
He said, so before we can move forward, we must stop. And as men, it is our responsibility to make it better. So he said, you can do as many Evil Knievels and Uzis as you want to, but until we start with our women. So I actually stopped the God Box and sort of redid the album.
Really?
And talked to our women a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I cut some of the songs which were dope songs.
Right.
But the other thing he told me, which is really true, and I like to apologize. He said, brother, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, men don't really fuck with you no more. They respect you. He said, women love you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, as a businessman, you don't talk to your target audience. Whether you know it or not, black women are your target audience. Why don't you pay attention? He said, man, if nothing else, send a viral rose out to your female. And I did it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did it.
Yeah.
And the truth is, he's telling the truth. Like, women are the reason why I'm still here.
Right.
As many courageous things that I've done, men follow women.
Right.
The same thing with play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Are you ready for marriage, to take that step in your life?
am I ready for marriage? This is what I'll say. I read a book.
Don't tap
No, I'm
dance.
not gonna tap dance.
You always got a story. I read a book.
The only reason why
Yes or no, David?
What can I tell my story? My story is this. I read a book that's called Think and Grow Rich. And in that book, they said success comes only with sacrifice. They said, but the sacrifice will be nothing to the success. And I'm not just saying this for gain. I've always wanted to be married. Because one thing that I learned from my mentor is when men are married, it's so much energy that goes in. If you have 5 women, even if you only speak to them 15 minutes a day, imagine how much time and how many times you have to break away from your focus.
Right.
He said, my success comes from my marriage. And he was the first man, like, Mr. Moody doesn't cheat on his wife.
And it's supposed to come from his marriage, if you understand what marriage is and why it was created.
But I'm an in or out man. That's why they call me David Banner.
In and out, what you mean?
I'm either in or I'm out.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm going in and
Well,
out
you
a
gotta
whole
clarify.
lot. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But like, I want, if I get married and I have children, like I wanted 7 children until I kept my niece for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I cut it down.
That'll
to 2.
do it.
But I want to be able to spend time. I don't want to just get married and then go back to work.
Yeah.
In order for me to build corporations and do what I'm doing, I want to be able to spend that time.
Well, you say on the record, you want to be able to put you first, and that's very important. I know a lot of men, their relationships, their marriages, their women are not first.
Yeah.
Their family are not first in their lives, and that's very important.
Right. And so I sacrificed that. And just like when I went on that fast, when I do get married, I'm going to make up for all them years of not being married.
I thought you already made up.
I just made up for the fast. I didn't make up for not being married for those years, but I have been practicing a lot.
You're not even supposed to be practicing.
Oh, I know what I'm not supposed to do, but I'm just going to keep it 100 with you.
That's between you and God.
I fall short.
We all do.
I fall way short, though. But let me tell you really quick, the one thing that I will say, I fuck up twice a year, every year. And I want to tell you why. is people try to make me out to be something that's perfect. And the federal government loves that when it comes to black people. Yeah.
Self-righteousness.
Yeah. No, not that. Build them up. Fatten the pig so I can show you who he is. I want people to know that I'm human and I'm not perfect.
Absolutely.
So if it ever came out that I slipped into something, you in and out of something, and the government shows you that, then people know, well, David Banner never lied to us.
Right.
You know?
And you know, it's so important that you said that. I think that's what makes Martin Luther King Jr. so great, because he wasn't perfect. And I think like when you really, study a lot of those leaders from back then and truly get to know their humanity, I think people can appreciate a lot of people so much greater, You
know who was really close to it, though? And they never talk about this in history? Malcolm was.
Oh, and Malcolm is another one.
I did a comprehensive study on Malcolm, and I found that the government was after Malcolm so hard, but he wasn't womanizing.
No.
He was living that life that he said that he was living. So what they did was, instead of tearing him down, they tried to wedge. Put a wedge between
between
him and the nation and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it's like they always find a way. So what I try to do is sort of what Eminem did in the battle. You know what I'm saying? In 8 Mile, he gave it to him early. You know what I'm saying? Well, these are all the things that you could possibly say about me. Now what?
Right.
So I just try to be as honest as I can with people. But what I will say is that I need people to support me. This year, black people's spending power will be like,
it's already in the trillions,
isn't
it?
I think it's $1.1 trillion.
Honey.
If black people supported me, I wouldn't give a fuck about nobody else on this earth. We don't need anybody but us. Everybody tries to go global. Global, global, global. If we just took care of us here.
Exactly.
Everybody asks me, when is the God Box coming out? If I sold, how many? Adele just sold, a million singles? If I sold 200,000 Marry Me's right now, I would drop the God Box tomorrow.
Right.
But the thing is, this is a classic album. This is one of the best hip-hop albums ever. I'm saying that. But even just like how My Uzi, like, that fucking song is phenomenal. We got an orchestra at the end of that bitch, a real one.
Yeah.
The same dude that did Passion of the Christ and Iron Man.
Wow.
And motherfuckers just do me in Big Crit like that all the time. It's almost like we San Antonio. I did the freestyle for the BET Awards, and BET called me and say, Banner, that's in the top 3 of the best freestyles in BET history.
And nobody cared.
They was like, yo, it's you, Kendrick Lamar, and Eminem. And nobody really gave a shit.
Why do you think that is, though? Wait, hold your thought. We'll come back. You can tell us. It's Hip Hop Nation. I'm Renata Romaine, your ear candy. It's Hip Hop Nation. We're back with David Banner. You brought up a great point. You killed that BET freestyle, but no one cared. You drop great music, but no one seems to care. Not just yourself, but you have other artists out there as well. Why is that? Is it because people just don't really get it? They don't know what to like or who to support?
Well, this is what I say. Nigga was an experiment. Africans did not come over here as niggas. Niggas is an experiment that white people did, and it worked. I believe it worked better than they would have ever imagined. We are programmed to be this way. And I've been saying this for the last 3 days. I give the example of a central processing unit all the time. The central processing unit of a computer is based on the human brain.
Yeah.
So I always ask people, if they erased the central processing unit and uploaded a virus, would you blame the computer or the programmer?
Right.
The fucking programmer. And the problem with black people is there was never anything uploaded back.
Right.
They didn't even take a month. Even though we were programmed for over 300 years, they didn't even take a month to reinstill that knowledge of self and knowledge of God and knowledge of Africa.
Right.
Everything about black people, we try to change it.
Yeah.
And something that I always tell people is Africans came over here super dark. And if you are American and you are light-skinned, 9 times out of 10 it happened because of rape.
Of course.
And people don't talk about that. So when a person says, I want a light-skinned woman, you are telling that person that you hope that their family had been raped by white people.
Honey, it's all in the music.
And people don't talk about that.
Honey.
And see, the amazing thing for me, so how can I expect people to support conscious music when they are not conscious? So it is my responsibility and no one else. If I want people to support conscious music at the same time, simultaneously, or before, I have to raise the consciousness. That's like me asking you to read an Egyptian book that's inscribed in Egypt.
Yeah.
But I never taught you that scribe.
So we don't have the capacity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about me is I look awesome. So if nothing else, the ladies could just look at the cover of the album and be like, damn, I don't know what he's talking about, but shit.
We ain't complaining about
I
that.
can give it to him. And that the beats are fucking dope. I told people this. Kanye West. On Jesus Walks, he could have said, Allah walk, atheist walk. It didn't matter. The beat and the melody was so jamming. Most people won't admit that most conscious music sounds like 1991.
Yes.
Or the shit is just whack.
It's not hot. Yes.
So if you want people to do something that they're not used to, you got to make that shit jamming.
That's the problem with gospel rap too.
You got to make that shit jamming.
Yeah. I know you got to run, but we have to talk about this upcoming election, the whole presidential election and the black agenda. Were you down in D.C. for the Million Man March?
No, I was in Mississippi bringing down or trying to help down,
bring down the flag.
The flag.
Yeah. We'll come back. It's David Banner, Hip Hop Nation. Yeah. Hip Hop Nation, I'm Renata Romaine, your ear candy. David Banner, the God Box is being worked on.
It's done.
It's completed.
It's completely done. I am not doing anything else on that album.
So when are you releasing it?
I'm looking at February. I won't promise people again. I'll hold this album forever before I let it just be, just something that people flash over.
Right.
That's why, I thank Sirius so much as a conglomerate, because they helped me when a lot of people turned their back on me. You guys held my Uzi down almost alone when you didn't have to. And that's why I have such an allegiance to you guys. And I'm so thankful. And I'm being very honest, like, it feels even worse when you know what you have. And Crit said it, in Mount Olympus. You said you wanted this, you said you wanted that, now you want this. People say they want good music, but they really don't. They want it from who they want it from, where they want it to be from. And I know what we are. Like good or bad, I tell people this, and I mean this with all my heart, and I'm going to look at y'all and tell y'all, I'm dope. The rest of the shit is on y'all. If y'all don't buy it, and see what's bad about us, then we get mad when we move overseas. Or we get mad when people go ahead and go with the white folks. Then they call you a sellout, but you didn't fuck.
When you get in, when you fit in.
Yo, Whoopi Goldberg said the hardest shit ever. She said, black men criticized me for having a white husband. She said, but none of y'all would date me. None of y'all would fuck with me. And then I start going and fucking a white man. Then you're going to have a hissy fit.
Yes.
I always tell my people, they say, well, why you don't come here? Why you don't? How the fuck do you treat me when I am there?
I can relate to that.
You treat me like shit when I'm there. So you get pissed when I don't come back? I ain't no fucking fool. When I'm going to come around so you can look at me crazy.
Easy, David.
Make me feel like, look, I'm going to tell you something, man.
I love the passion.
I love black folks with all of my heart, but I'm not going to let people treat me or my people like shit. Yeah. I promise you I'm not. I love you from afar.
Right. Real quick, we have this election coming up in 1 year from now. We will have a new president. What is the black agenda? What should it be? Because I feel like we can no longer just give our vote away. We've been doing that for too long.
I don't want your fucking hope. I'm tired of that shit. Obama sold black folks hope. My dad always told me, if you can't write it on a sheet of paper, it don't exist. If you look at any other specialized group, you can write it on a sheet of paper what he got from them. He
Yeah.
said he was going to give us hope, and he gave us hope. We have to get out of that. If you look at any other specialized
Do
group
you
of
blame
people-
him though?
Yes, I do. Because black people, we always make excuses for people. If you owe me $5, I want my fucking $5. I don't care if you influence me and make me want to be a better person because you happen to be black
But
and
we
all
ain't
this
asked
stuff.
for nothing, no, David.
But yet and still, if I am a leader, leaders have vision.
Mm-hmm.
People perish for a lack of vision. He knows why. I even give you an example. When he first got into office, the first thing he did was have this big forum and crucify black men. You don't raise your kids. You don't do, but you ain't never say nothing about no slavery. You ain't never say nothing about why they are the way that they are. At the end of the day, if you look at specialized groups of people, and it is true, they know what they want. We need a black agenda. Let me tell you what I feel. And a lot of people trip when I say this. Let's find 20 things. Let's get on our knees like we hustling and roll some fucking dice and just pick one. I don't give a shit what it is. The school to prison pipeline,
Right.
whatever it may, reparations, whatever the hell you want. Anything but 40 acres in the mule, because that's all what the fuck we know.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Just pick something and have solidarity. Because the one thing that I want black people to understand, I don't give a damn if you're Christian. I don't give a damn if you're Muslim, if you're gay. They don't care when they stop you what you are. They will kill you.
Right.
They redline your house and you can't get in certain neighborhoods. They don't care whether you're black, Muslim, Republican, Democrat, atheist, whatever. You
Right.
are black. So under those auspices, we have to come together.
Yeah.
We find a reason to separate. It ain't personal about Obama. I ain't had no personal problems against him. But what I do know is that at the end of the day, black people were a major reason why you're there. Every other group of people is going to do something for their constituents.
We know that we need to come together. The question is how. But we're out of time.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
go buy Marry Me right now. Pre-order the God box.
Yes,
And just support. And I'll tell people this, is I don't care what you think about me. Just think. That's all I want. I don't want you to agree with me. You don't have to.
That's all I ask for.
I study. I'm a studier. You show me where you...
And it shows.
Right. You show me where you... Give me anything but feelings and hope. That's all black folks do. We feel. Fuck feeling.
Yes.
Give me your references.
Yes.
Show me where you researched it. You know, because feelings are sort of like taking a squat. They come and go.
Absolutely. It's David Banner.
I love y'all.
You are always welcomed here. Make sure you come back. We got to keep this going. The God Box, you can pre-order it on iTunes.
Yep. You can pre-order on iTunes next week, but you can buy My Uzi right now. You can buy Marry Me right now. You can buy Evil Knievel. And y'all get ready right before the God Box release. Me, Renata, and a couple of other people, we're going to do some very, very special things. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk to the big man. I want to do something. I want to do a forum for women.
Okay.
Before the album comes out, where we could really talk. I may even fly some of my fans up because I'm sort of balling a little bit.
I like
you know
that.
What I'm talking about. We put them on a plane and we make it happen.
I love that. You can also check out David Banner right now in the movie Carter High.
Oh, Carter High. Yep, Carter High. Go see Carter High right now. Don't even worry about it. Hit me on Twitter at The Real Banner. We'll talk about it. Peace, Periscope.
Survive Nation. Air Candy Mornings.